Hey, what's happening, everybody? This is your pal, Steve Brown, and catch Dave and Ty on NEZ SEZ every Thursday night on YouTube. Crank it up.
And we're live. Today's March 4th, 2021, and you're tuned in to NEZ SEZ, a place where musicians can come together and inspire each other to play more music. I'm your host, David Nesdahl, and my usual co-host, Ty Price, is out playing his guitar tonight. So I'm joined and very happy to have this special co-host, Mr. Scott Moore. Scott is a guitar player and a builder. He was a guest on NEZ SEZ a few weeks ago, and we've had a great discussion. Hey, Scott, how you doing?
Great, Dave. How are you, man?
I'm doing really good, man. So, Scott, I'm really excited about our show tonight. We're joined by the president of FU-Tone, Mr. Adam Reiver. Adam has worked hand in hand with the greatest guitar players in the world for the past 25 years, helping them to achieve their ultimate tone and improve their overall performance of their equipment. Adam and the FU team has dedicated to helping all guitar players, not just pros, but everybody, to find what's best for their style and their taste. He manufactures the ultimate high-performance guitar parts and are used by the pros, and as we are very honored that he has agreed to join us this evening, please welcome to NEZ SEZ my friend, Mr. Adam Reiver. Hey, Adam, how are you?
Good, man. That was a mouthful.
Oh, you have no idea how hard it is to read all that. Because I don't read very well. But I'll memorize it for the next time you're on.
Can you do that again?
I can.
Start from the top? I'm kidding.
I can start it from the bottom upward.
What's happening, guys?
Yeah, how you doing? Real quick, before we get going, let's just say hello to the people in the chat. We have Dan of New Jersey, the Chad. Thomas Santiago, David Shar, NEZ SEZ is in the room. My father, Richard Nesdahl, Browns fan, Steve Carmichael, and we'll say hello to more people as they say hello. Right now we have 16 people, and it'll start to pack up in here. Bent Tom is in here, Guitar 45, Charlie S. Nice to see you all. So anyway, how you doing, Adam? I know you've been busy because every time I call you, it's a quick conversation.
They're all quick, and it's great. So I'm happy to be that busy.
Yeah.
But my phone is like a slot machine, like all day, and it's great. I could have a worse problem, so I try to make them as fast and efficient as I can, so I don't miss a lot. Like you called me the other day. And to firm up for today, and it's right there. Pick up. Hey, Dave, Adam, can I ask you a favor? No. Fine. And we just fire. No, and of course I was joking, but
I know that.
Yeah, it's good. All is good. FU is busy day and night. D-tuna, boogie bodies, just everything's humming away and doing great.
That's awesome. That's really cool. A couple more people. Bozique is here, and one of your boys, Cameron Brown, is in here.
What's up, Cameron?
Nice to see you, Cameron. All right, so let's get this started. First of all, Scott, thank you so much for doing this with us tonight. I know that Ty couldn't make it because he's rehearsing he actually has a gig this weekend. So they decided to rehearse on the most important night of the week, which is our show.
Right.
But, congrats that he's actually able to go out and gig. I'm very happy for him. So, Adam, man, first of all, when you were wee bit Adam, so to speak, what got you, who and what got you into music and the style of music that you enjoy now? How did it start for you?
Music, pre-guitar. Music for me started when I would steal my mother's albums. And my mother was, the Beatles generation, and she saw the Beatles, and I would pilfer her records before I had my first record. So I had Led Zeppelin 2, Alice Cooper Billion Dollar Babies, Beatles records, and stuff like that. And I had no idea what it was, but I would put it on, and I just know that I liked it. And then when I think I was about 11 when I bought my first record, when I bought my first album. And it's a shame because kids today, oh, my daughter's going, where can I see this interview? So it's a shame. I'm going to text this to her as we go.
Sure,
But
no problem.
it's a shame that kids today don't have the same experience that I think our generation had of going to a record store. Like the record store I went to in the suburbs of Philadelphia, my record store was called Sound Odyssey. And it was the kind of record store you'd go in and they'd have all the bins and the labels, but they had posters all in the back, and you would pick the poster you wanted. They had decals and shirts, so you would pick a shirt off of the rack and tell them, you want decal number 27 on this shirt, and they had the hot presses.
I remember that. I remember that like it was yesterday, actually.
There was a little counter in the back of the store. It was like a head shop that sold like bowls and rolling papers. I had no idea what it was. But what I did know was I liked being in there. I liked going to the record store. Even at that age, like my parents would go to that mall and they would go shop, and I would go off to the record store. And there was something very communal about being in the record store. You would talk to the long-haired kid next to you. You would see the cool dudes who worked there. And it was just a kind of place to be that experience is lost today. And it was so communal. And I was in there and I would look at the posters, and the first record I ever bought was a Kiss record. When I was there, it was Kiss Rock and Roll Over. And I remember I was in Sound Odyssey, and I'm thumbing through it. I saw the cover, and I'd see the Kiss poster on the wall, and I saw it was like, I think if I remember correctly, the record was like $5.99. And I remember going home and scraping my money together, and I walked like the 2 miles to the mall, 11 years old. And I get the Kiss record, I walk to the counter, and I start counting out the change. And I got a kid. I was like 30 or 40 cents short because I didn't count on tax.
Right.
For the record.
No one does.
So I walked all the way home, and I'm digging through the sofa for more change, and I got the change, and I went back to the store. 4 trips up and back, and I come home with my very first record, which was Kiss Rock and Roll Over. Mm-hmm. And my stepmother puts it on the turntable, and I forget what the opening song was, but it had an acoustic intro. And I was
Thank God, right?
I was like, what the hell is this? This isn't the thing on the wall or something. And then it kicked in. And
yeah.
So to answer your question of where it started with the music, those were the 2 places. My mother's record collection and Sound Odyssey record store, that communal experience, which was spectacular.
Do you still have the Kiss album?
I don't. I don't. I wish I had a lot of things that I don't have anymore. But, and I didn't even know what I was buying. I didn't know that. I mean, I saw the poster. I talked to the older kids. I saw people in the record store. I go, this is a good place to start.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That is a great place to start. It really is. So you're a kid, and you get your Kiss record, and you're like finding out what rock and roll is. From there, what made you decide the guitar?
I have 2 or 3 very specific instances that I could put my finger on, that I could draw a line right from that instance right there to where I'm sitting right now. And one of them was a very good friend of mine to this day in the industry. I'd moved to a new high school, and I didn't know a single person in the school. My whole life I stayed in this one area. first day of new high school, not one kid. And I'm there when I got my hockey jacket on, I got my long hair, still had hair, no hair now, but and I'm walking in school and I see another long hair kid walking towards me and we give each other the long hair nod, which is the, you look at each other, you do this.
That's it. The slight nod. That's it.
It's the long hair nod.
It is.
Yeah.
And he goes, "You're new here." I said, "Yeah." I said, "I'm like, thank God someone's talking to me." It was terrifying.
Yeah.
And he saw my jacket. We both played hockey, and we talked about hockey for a minute. And he said, he goes, "Yeah, man, we should hang out." I'm like, "Yes, thank you." And I rode my bike down to his house, and I'll shorten the story up. And I walk in to his house, and his mother points me to the bedroom. And I open the door, and there he is jamming on guitar, Marshall Stack, row of guitars, and ironically jamming to Van Halen Light Up the Sky. And I open the door and he sees me there and he gives me the long hair nod and goes right back to playing the song.
Sure.
And finishes the song and cuts it off. And I'm just standing there with my jaw on the floor. And he goes, "Yo, what's up?" I said, "That's the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life." He goes, "Do you play?" He picks up a guitar, hands me a guitar, "Put your finger here, do this." And 40 years later, we're like that still.
That's awesome.
That's great.
So
What a great story.
That was a turning point for me.
That's amazing. I love stories like that. So man, yeah. So you started 40 years ago, and it just progressed. So did you do any gigging at all?
Oh yeah.
As you were growing up, did you do any?
I loved playing in bands, and I was a little bit of a late start. I was starting at 14. So now when you start getting into those high school garage bands, like I was behind like all the dudes, like my friend that was playing like pro shit, at that age. And, I was a little late start, but once I got out of the gate, you'd be in this band and that band, and we would, you'd play at the school. Then you get out and you would start getting like gigs, like regular local jam gigs. And I loved it. And I played in bands probably till into my 30s. I would still just jam. Now I'll just go join friends that'll let me come sit in, or just to go get it out of my system. And every once in a while, I get that crazy idea of like, I should put a little thing together for no other reason than to just play. I don't care if you play to 1,000 people or you play to 10. I don't care.
That's the best reason to do it. That's just the best reason to do it, to have fun, to get together with some guys or girls. But you just play your instruments and have fun and make some music. That's this way. There's no preconceived. I gotta make the rent payment with this. When you start to have to do that, when you have to do that, it's not fun anymore. It becomes a job. But as a job, it's a good job. Don't get me wrong, but it's always just a great time to get a bunch of your friends that are good musicians and make some good music.
Yeah,
that's just awesome.
Music to me is therapeutic. Before I came back to the office, I was just at the house. There's always guitars laying around. There's a guitar laying on my sofa, and I picked it up and started playing. And I lost track of time, because I was futzing with the guitar a little bit, and some cool things were coming out. And next thing you know, you just go down the hole and you start playing. If you play for any other, in my opinion, if you play for any other reason than enjoyment, you're doing yourself a huge disservice.
Mm-hmm. Right, because it's the hardest business to get into. Once it becomes where it has to be a business and you have to make money and you have to find gigs and blah blah blah, it is the hardest. You can become a brain surgeon sooner than become good at being a pro musician.
The pay's better for most.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you're gigging. At what point? And I think I'm going to know the answer to this. But at what point did you decide to start repairing guitars?
early, and I just saw a picture the other day of me with my first guitar. I wish I put it where I could show you, but I'll send it to you later. And I had my very first guitar, which was a red Hondo Flying V, $200 from Sam Goody. And if you see this picture of me playing this guitar in my bedroom at 15, 16 years old, you know, skinny as a stick with a cut-off t-shirt, and Motley Crue, and all the shit on the walls. But what's interesting, and when we grew up, you know, before modding was like what it is now, you know, before the 80s, modding was non-existent. You know, there was very little. You could get a brass nut, or you could get an upgraded pickup, but that was pretty much it. And it was like an underground thing. And then the 80s came and the hot rod guitars came. But on this $200 first guitar that I own, this red Hondo Flying V, you'll see a Kahler tremolo, and in a DiMarzio Invader in the bridge, and a Mighty Mite triple coil pickup in the neck.
How cool
Which
is that?
I only wanted it because it looked cool.
Yeah.
It sounded awful in the neck, but it just looked insanely cool. You know, the knobs are changed. And this was my first guitar. And I would take it apart and put it back together. I would unwire it, rewire it, you know, play with it, try different parts. And I enjoyed working on it and playing with it as much as I did playing it. So to me, I was fascinated by the mechanics of the guitar, and I still am. And when I look at a guitar, I mean, it's like art to me. I think it's really beautiful. It's really interesting, and I love the mechanics and the physics and all of it. So of course, I just never left it alone. I kept going. Thank God it turned into a career.
Yeah. So I got to tell you this little story. Hopefully it stays little. So when I started playing, when I was 5 years old, and I was throwing a baseball up or tennis ball up in the air in my lot here, and my grandmother says to me, just nonchalant, "Do you want to learn how to play guitar?" I said, "Okay." Just like that. Okay. So she had a tenant that lived in what would be that house that I'm living in now. This house burned down in 2007, but so there was a tenant there that gave guitar lessons, and she said, "Buy my grandson a cheap guitar, give him lessons, and I'll take $100 off your rent every month." And he did. So that was my first guitar, and then soon after that, my father, who is in the chat, bought me an Ovation acoustic guitar, which, you know, back in 1982, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. But the first guitar I bought with my own money was at a small guitar shop in the mall at the Roosevelt Field Mall. It was called Matthews Music, and it was a red Hondo Explorer with yellow stripes.
I know the one.
How cool was that? And that was like, I took that to school with me. I would take it, no case, just put it on me like the Richie Valens stupid thing, and carry my guitar around like it was, you know, the best thing that happened to me, because it was the one that I bought with my own money, and it meant a lot to me. But yeah, those first guitars, when you buy them with your own money, it's a big deal. It's really a big deal. I mean, it's a big deal when anyone buys your guitar, but when it's the hard-earned cash that you worked your rear end off for a summer or 2 summers, and then you bought your own guitar, that just means the world. So I get that.
It's like that record. It's like there's a pride to it, and you work for it. It's hard, and that's a lot of money back then. That $200 for that Hondo guitar, you know, that you might as well have been $2,000, because you know that was a ton of dough.
Yeah.
You know,
you had $200 in your pocket, and you were afraid you were going to get mugged back then. It was like, you know, oh my God, I can't believe I'm carrying this.
And back to the album, that's back when like something was tangible. You had the whole sleeve to open up and look at, and there's like such a connection to the band.
I was going to go there, and can I interject on that one
Right
thing?
ahead.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Adam is stuck. Frozen,
He's frozen.
even. Hopefully he gets unfrozen. We're probably going to lose him in a second, and he'll come back.
Yeah. I was on the edge of my seat for
Yep,
that.
there he.
Oh,
there
we're
he
back.
goes.
There he
Yep, there you are.
All right. The great point that I almost went to when I was talking about the album, but the Light Up the Sky story,
Oh, yeah.
I was having this conversation with that guy 2 days ago. And one of those things when I was a kid that I could draw the line from something as a kid to where I'm sitting now, I would sit with all those records and read the liner notes and look at the pictures and read the lyrics. But one of them, they're all memorized in my head, but one of them, Aerosmith Live Bootleg, which was a double record, and you opened it up and there was a bunch of inset shots.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to my friend, I go, but there was one picture in there. And he stopped me. And and there was like 50 pictures. He goes, this is the picture. It's my mother. This is the picture you're going to tell me about. And it's a picture of Joe Perry from the back. And he has a guitar slung over his shoulder, hanging down the back, and one in the front. And he's playing, and he's looking out at a crowd of like an outdoor stadium, like 70,000 people.
That's right.
And he had the hair and the shit and the clothes and the two guitars. That on 3 or 4 things, that photograph in that album, laying on my basement floor, looking at it, I could draw that line. Yeah, I was like, what is this? This is from space. This is amazing.
Yeah, that's
How
rock
do
and roll.
How do you get from here to there?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's good
it's
stuff.
incredible. It's
Sorry to
it's-
interrupt on that one, but it
No,
popped in
man,
my
I'm
head.
glad you did.
No,
because
no interruption at all.
Yeah, that's I have an older brother who had, Kansas comes to mind. The boat going off the edge. I'm like, what happens then? You're listening
Yeah.
to the thing, and then you're just like, that's part of the experience of taking in the music.
But it's like what we were talking about with the record store. How kids today won't know about laying on the ground and reading the liner notes, where they don't go to the store. They download a song now. You don't know anything about it. You don't.
Yep,
The experience is so different
you're right.
now, and I think it takes away so much. And everything is so accessible with the internet and this and that. You could watch that famous rock star eating breakfast now. So, when you were a kid, you had the album, you had a couple of magazines, and then you waited for that concert, pre-MTV.
Yeah,
That was it. So when you got a morsel, I mean, it was like gold. It was really
it
interesting.
meant something. It meant
Yeah.
something.
Now there's so much content and so much bad content and so much shit that it's like it's all watered down.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the rock stars? Where's the cool? Where's the next guitar hero? Where's the next guy that we're all going to stand there and drop draws like?
Where's the kid's room that's got all the posters on the wall now?
That was my.
It's
It's
Right,
over.
and all the Hit Parader magazine pages
Oh, God.
plastered
My
on the
mom.
wall. I know.
You're gonna take the paint off the wall. You're putting holes in the wall with tacks.
Yeah. So let's say hello to a couple more people. Bozique is here. The Chad is here. Paul Fuchs is here. Jay Hannon, 7/8 is here. Hey, Ben Coombs is here. Frank Corcoran.
Ben.
Yes, Ben is our moderator. He's on the ball all the time.
Is that who kicked me off? Is that what happened?
No.
Yeah.
Let's see. Kelly is here. Says, hey, Madison Reiver is here. Hey, Madison.
Little Mac. That's my girl.
Yes.
Here, look. Here's
Jason-
a picture of Madison. There she is.
Oh, how cool. Very
Because I'm
cool.
looking for that guitar picture for you. Go ahead.
Jason Constantine is here.
Jason.
And we'll say hello to more people as they come in. Right now we have 43 people watching us. And this is just great. Thomas Santiago is here. And if I missed you, say hello so I can say hello to you.
Hey, Dave.
Hi, Dave.
This is very
You didn't
nice.
say hi to me.
I did. Well, I said hello to you off camera.
Okay, I'll take it.
All right. Daniel Vanderlinden is here. Very nice to see you. I think you're a first time watcher of the show. Welcome. So, all right. So you're playing guitar and you start working on guitars, did anyone teach you how to do setups, how to change pickups out, how to take a neck off and put a new neck on, how to do a neck adjustment, how to do a truss rod adjustment? How did you learn to do this stuff?
It's interesting. Again, going back to what we were just talking about. Now you could go on YouTube and you'll have 50 guys to show you how to change your strings or to do this, most of it wrong. But there's so much information. There was no content for us when we were trying to figure this out. So 90% of it was trial and error, when the first like good tremolos would come along and we didn't even know how to string it. And the companies didn't tell you. There was no instructions. We're just like, let's just figure this out. And we would spend hours just try it, do it different, do this. And then like you would get together with your boys and you would all share information. No, check this out. Oh, check that out. Again, also communal, like very inside. And it all came from that. And we all just wanted to make our guitars play better, sound better. And if you figured something out, of course, you'd go over to your friend's house like, dude, you got to see this. Check this out. Someone else would show you something. And that's how shit got around. And there was something really pure about that and something wholesome and fun and good,
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
100%. Agree with that.
Absolutely. All right, so fast forward to FU Tone. What made you decide to drum up this business? How did you think of the stuff that you thought of for your just to the mind-boggling upgrades to the locking tremolo, the brass block, the size difference of brass blocks, the titanium inserts, mix and matching colors, colored tremolos, everything. What's that? I'm sorry, I never remember the name, but the thing that goes onto the pickup to raise the pickup up.
PMS.
The PMS. Yes, that's it. All this stuff. Where does that come from in your mind? How do you think of these things, and how do you get it to come to fruition? And I mean, we'll start there. Those are enough questions for you to answer.
You could lump some more in there.
Yeah.
Everything came from, some things I worked on with other people. First, D-Tuna came first. So we did D-Tuna and it worked and it was successful. And I was working with other people for distribution and things like that. And I was like, well, we could also do this, this, and this. And the people I was talking to was like, nobody wants that. And, we would have already thought of that. And I was like, I'm going to do this. So I started, the first product for FU was the block. And I started the company with one product. I was like, let's just see if this works. And I had some prototypes made and we tried it and it worked. And luckily, because I already had a foot in the door with D-Tune and I knew a bunch of artists, I could get it into the hands of, like pro guys. I had access to some great guys that I would say, hey, look, I got this thing. I'm going to put it on your guitar. And at first people are like, no. And I would always say, I'm just going to put this on. And if it's not cool, I'm just going to take it off and we're still friends. No harm, no nothing. And I still say that to guys, that are skeptical. When you see that iconic guitar that you grew up watching and now it's sitting right in front of you. Pete says the Flyers suck. They're coming back tonight. Don't worry. Fucking Pete. Listen to this guy. Of course.
The real PM. He's the real PMS.
He is a PMS. But good one, Pete. Yeah. Good one, Pete. And it worked. And people were receptive to it. And they liked it. And a lot of the right people were receptive. Excuse me. And that led me to go, well, what else can we fix? What else can we upgrade? Where's the next weak link? And I thought that, behind the block, because tonally, that's the biggest piece of the puzzle. Tonally is the block. And then I went to the saddle inserts, which I thought were a twofold problem. One, I mean, how many times have you gone to change a string and your insert is expanded and stuck and it
Or
won't
cracked.
crack and they open? And I can't tell you how many times I've been there with the screwdriver as a kid going, this thing sucks. I'm like, imagine if this was like titanium and didn't budge. So, and then what I found out from that was sonically, the insert is a huge game changer. Huge, sonically. And that mixed with the brass block, in my opinion, they just go hand in hand together. They sound great together. The titanium insert has a certain clarity and sustain and note separation, and the brass block just rams it out into the body of the guitar. And it's a win-win. It's a good thing. And then we just kept going: springs, claws, screws, the whole thing.
But it all
Saddles.
makes sense too. It all makes sense because every piece that you have upgraded is an integral part of making your guitar sound better. And I don't want to sound like a commercial for FU Tone, but it is absolutely the truth. If I didn't believe in it, I wouldn't have any of that shit in any of my guitars. Not that I'm a somebody, but I mean, I can hear when something sounds really good, and every improvement that you've made makes every guitar sound better. It really
Thanks.
does.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, all right. So I am going to say this. I wasn't going to, but the first time that I saw a detuner on a guitar was the summer of 1993 at Jones Beach, when I saw this yellow guitar on this small guy with long hair that has played guitar better than anyone on the planet. Rest in peace. I didn't know what the hell it was. I finally heard Unchained again since 1984, right after his guitar solo. It was the most incredible, and no one knew what the hell that thing was. Everyone would try to take pictures and get close-ups. It was this little black thing at the end of his tremolo. No one knew what it was, and everyone was like dumbfounded that he can go from E to D without using a fine tuner. It was the coolest thing in the world, and that changed. Well, it changed a lot of things on guitar. So thank you again for that.
That was a godsend, and I'm very fortunate and lucky and blessed to have been a part of that with that group of people and him. And it was life-changing. It was surreal. I'm still in shock. Mm-hmm. Believe me, it's not lost on me. I mean, I'd be with him for years and years, and I'd still be standing there pinching myself going, I don't believe I'm doing this. This is crazy.
Yeah.
And footnote, I will say this about him, about Eddie. Everyone knows what a great guitar player he was. Everyone knows what an innovator he was for gear and how he changed the way guitars are made. And none of us would be sitting here I see everyone's guitars there. None of that would be without him. But because everyone talks about all those things all the time. What I will say is, as a guy, he was the most humble, nice guy, kind, generous. He made me feel like I was the important one in the room. He would do that. He would ask how my kids were. He would ask, how's Madison? How's Laura? By name. He doesn't need to know that. That's the kind of guy he was. And that's what's lost on the people.
On a very, very small scale, I know that as well, because I think I music. I was his gopher and his little confidant while he was in Manhattan, and he borrowed a wah and a bunch of pedals one day, and then the next day they were doing the autograph signing for Van Halen 3 at the Virgin Megastore, and I'm standing right next to him. And while he's autographing all these people, thousands of people, he turns to me and says, "Hey, did you get that wah back? I gave that wah back to you, didn't I?"
That's the kind of guy he was.
I couldn't believe, just that amazing person, and I can't say that I know him personally other than that week, but for him to treat someone that he didn't know very well like a family member, I can only imagine how he was to his friends.
Exactly as I said. Just a kind, generous, awesome guy.
So anyway, from there, let's go to the most important piece of conversation for the evening, the FU tone guitar.
Ah.
Let's talk about that.
Is that the most important piece? I'll take it, but go ahead.
Well, I mean, other than me, it's the most important.
So that's what I was thinking.
No. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, let's talk about your guitar. Is that it behind you?
Some of them, I have one down here.
Okay.
Pulled out for you. Actually, I hope you can see it okay.
Oh, yeah. Here, let me do this for you. Let me do this so we can just get you in there.
That is beautiful.
Oh, man, that looks amazing in black.
Thank you.
Turn it down. It's so loud. No, it's great. That's beautiful.
That is one of the coolest features of that instrument right there.
Yep.
All right, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about its inception.
Okay.
How did you? Well, I mean, of course, you've been working on Super Strats, and I'm sure you build Super Strats for most of your life. How did it come to this?
I had a friend of mine at a guitar company who said, we should do a guitar. We should do an FU guitar, like you design a guitar, and we should do this. And I said, in 2 seconds flat, I said, no, thank you. I said, it's not what I do. It's not my core business. My business is parts. My business is complete tremolo units. I expanded it to pickups and all the stuff that I do. And I was very hesitant. And he's a big shot in the guitar industry. And he's like, come on, bro, we could do it. And I reluctantly said, okay. And, fast forward down the road a little bit, and it's still a brother to me, and I love him dearly, but he got busy with a new company, a much bigger company, that where he makes his living. So full respect. And I was kind of on an island by myself in the world of complete guitars, which even though I'm in that industry with boogie bodies, with necks and bodies, every part that's on this guitar I sell. But selling a full guitar is a completely different business than selling all those parts. So I put together what I thought would be everything I'd want in a guitar for me as a player. How would I build this guitar as my first guitar? And obviously it all started at the bridge. And, like we were talking about, titanium inserts, D-tuna, big block, trem stopper, noiseless springs, brass claw screws, everything I would want in a bridge. The pickups are FU pickups that I've been selling for a few years. There's PMS under the pickup. I put 2 coil taps for the pickups and a 3-way. So you could get, 2 singles, hum single this way, 2 humbuckers. The tonal options are pretty plentiful. And I put a kill switch in it. I don't know if you can see that on there.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
Kill switch, 3-way, one volume knob, and that's it. So even though the guitar has a ton of features to it, it's not overly complicated. It's not, hard to manage. It's a very simple guitar, and it's made at a real solid factory that does a great job. I sell the guitar direct, and I sell it at a very reasonable price. because I wanted to put out a high-level guitar at a reasonable price. It doesn't go to a distributor and then to a store and then to a dealer, and everyone just marks it up high. Guys would come in my office and play the prototypes, and I would go, "What do you think?" And everyone would love it, and they would say, "How much?" And I would always say like 2,800, 2,900, and they'd go, "Yeah, not bad, not bad." And then I would go 1,100 street. And they're like, "There's no way you could sell this guitar for $1,100. And we do.
I mean, realistically, the tremolo and all the upgrades for the tremolo are almost half of the guitar. Almost half of the cost of the guitar.
If you order this tremolo, these pickups and the PMS, just those 3 things off of my website, it's $550.
Yeah, you're paying half of what the guitar is. It's just incredible, and I haven't put my hands on that guitar yet, but I know what you like, and I know what your version and what your view of what a solid good guitar feels like, is we like the same stuff. You've played some of my guitars, and you're like, "Yeah, this is it."
We have very similar tastes.
So,
in guitars.
For you to make a guitar that costs $1,100 that feels like a $3,000 guitar, first of all, how does that happen? How does it happen?
I got to tell you, I was terrified when I did this, because it's a new angle of the business that I was not in. So my first run of guitars, I ordered what I thought would be 6 months to a year's supply of guitars. So I made 50 guitars, and I sold 40 of them in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I was shocked. So now I'm doing another run. I'm making 100, which will be here in June. I added a few new colors, and it's exciting. And I just all day long, can I get a pre-order? Can you hold one for me? And I'm like, I can't even manage all that. Just, they're going to come in June. I'm going to put them up for sale, and they're going to go.
So you have solid colors, and I did see one with a flame maple top on it. Now, is that flame maple on a mahogany guitar, or is that what's the body wood on underneath the flame?
It's an ash body with a maple top, and the one you saw was a trans purple.
Yes. Now, is there an upgrade? Is there an upcharge for the maple?
No.
Come on.
No.
All right. So anyone that's looking for a Super Strat, go no further than that. Go no further. Just order one. I know when you get your second shipment, I'm gonna get the first yellow one that you have, because I've been waiting for a yellow one anyway, and I know the one that I was going to get is gone. So I need to get a yellow one, regardless.
I was going to keep a yellow one for me off of the first run.
Yeah.
And I didn't. I wasn't able to. I was down to that last one, which was the one in the video, the one Steve had played in the demo video, and that was going to be my guitar. And I had a guy call me up. He goes, "I'm ordering 2 guitars. He goes, I want this color and yellow." I said, "I only have that one yellow left, and it's mine." And he's like, "I'm going to order 2 guitars. You're not going to let me have that guitar?" And I let it go. And I was like, I don't have that guitar anymore. The yellow, I love the yellow. I use the Pantone color that Ferrari uses for the yellow Ferrari. So it's that same yellow.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's just an incredible. I mean, the guitar that you have in your hands there, it is so majestic.
Thank you.
It's just. I know I sound like I'm blowing smoke up your ass, but I'm not. It's just, first of all, that guitar is right up my alley. I mean, look. These are the guitars that I play. I play this type, 2 humbuckers, and a tremolo, a locking tremolo on it. It's just
right back here, right?
What's that?
You can't split that.
Yes, I can. I'll tell you why.
You have a coil top in that?
That's a super switch.
Ah.
It's not a regular 5-way.
Still, you could still split them.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah. But, yeah, thank God, because you can't split them with a regular 5-way with a single hum. It's impossible. I tried it. Can't do it. But that guitar there, it's fresh looking. I like that it's not beat up. I like that it's a maple fretboard. Now, do you make rosewood fretboards as well?
Ebony. So on the first run, it was 4 colors. It was trans purple, black, yellow. All had maple necks. But the natural, I think there's one right behind me.
Yeah.
That guy. Can I do it this way?
Yeah, you're right there.
So the natural has ebony. On the second run, I added 4 more colors, and one of them is going to have I'm going to have antique white with ebony as well.
Oh, wow.
Very nice.
I don't do rosewood, and again, like I said, I designed the guitar that I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And although I do own some rosewood neck guitars, my preference is maple. I do like ebony, and yes, I will do a rosewood version. But what I've learned, just like everything else too, when you put something out, everybody wants something different. You know, like, can you give me the yellow with ebony and a reverse headstock and I'm like,
reverse headstock, great idea.
There's going to be 2 with reverse headstocks on the next run. But you know, whatever one it's on, someone will email me that they want it on something else or this or that. So
of course, no one's ever happy.
Well, no, you just can't. You can't cover all bases, especially at this price point.
Right away, anyway.
So, yeah.
So, may I ask, what is it about rosewood that doesn't float your boat?
It's not that it doesn't float my boat. I like the sound of it. But to answer that question legitimately, what I like about maple is the smoothness of the feel of maple, and which I also like that about ebony. It's a tighter grain where you don't really, if you run your fingernail, it feels like glass. Whereas if you do that on rosewood, it's a little more porous.
Yeah, it's porous, yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. But as for my personal taste, that's not up my alley. Run 3, I could guarantee you will have rosewood. But, you know, that's the answer to your question of why I didn't do it.
You know, it's funny, when I play a super strat, anything with 2 humbuckers and a locking trem, I like maple, just like you. I'm a maple guy for that. But the funny thing is, when I'm playing a regular Fender Strat, 3 single coils, like a vintage style Stratocaster, I like rosewood fretboards better for some reason. It just is what it is.
There's no wrong answer to that, you know?
Yeah.
If the 3 of us went out for ice cream and we're standing in Ben and Jerry's, I'll bet you we all get a different flavor.
Pistachio for me.
We're all getting a different flavor.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
You guys want to go get ice cream?
I wish I could. My blood sugar would be through the roof. Ben Coombs just posted the link to FU-Tone, which is very cool.
Thank you.
So
Ben.
anyone looking for anything, please click on that link, and we'll. All right. So the Chad says, Adam, what's the neck like? Do you sell different neck size and profiles?
Not on the guitar, no. So the neck on this run of FU guitars is a thin C. You know, it's kind of a fast neck.
That's exactly. I bet you he orders at least one from you, because the Chad is a good buddy of mine. In fact, that blue Kramer right there, just bought that from him, and he owns. I mean, every guitar he owns has a locking trem on it and is a super strat. They're all super strats. So I guarantee you'll be getting a call from him.
So the neck thin C with an oiled rubbed finish. So no urethane. It's very smooth. You know, very much like a Music Man neck. So
yeah,
that's what the feel from the Music Man neck, the EVH Music Man neck, is my favorite feel. So that's what I incorporated into this guitar.
So he just says, the Chad says, NEZ says, I do like that profile with a big smiley face. Yeah, I think he's got almost every color Music Man Van Halen guitar. And most of the PVs. He's got a lot of stuff, and it's all cool stuff. But I think he would really dig that guitar. and probably he would dig it in like whatever funky color you get.
So I'll give you a sneak preview for Run 2. The same first 4 colors, and we're going to add in translucent green, neon green, like total CC DeVille neon green with a reverse headstock, antique white, like Randy Rhoads white, and Tiffany blue, like a robin's egg blue.
Yeah. Oh my God. So now I don't know if I want the slime the green one with the upside down headstock.
Listen, at this price, Dave, and the way you buy guitars, just buy
Two. I'll take 2.
Easy enough.
Yeah, my wife is inside listening, and she's like, "No, you're not. No, you're not. I'll have your balls. You know you're not."
Please, you know,
No,
dude,
she's the coolest.
you know how to sneak guitars in the house.
Actually, shh. No, I don't.
What was the color? I'm looking, Dave. Your white pacer back there.
Yeah, the 86, that one right there.
My cousin
Yes.
had one that was candy apple red.
Oh, no kidding.
That color it looked like you put your hand in it. You know, it was had so much depth to it, and it's like they did that color, and that color's gone. That is fantastic.
That is
What
cool.
you got there,
Thank you.
especially with the zebra coils, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Thank
so
you.
good.
It's man, forget it, that thing. Jason Constantine says, Run 2, getting any trans purple?
Yes. So the same first 4 colors, they'll all be here: trans purple, black, natural, and yellow, and then the 4 new colors. So it'll be 8 colors.
And the Chad says he's down for a trans green.
Trans green's going to be sick. You know, trans purple sold out first. So I found that to be pretty interesting. And again, when I picked the colors, I just kept using myself as the barometer. My main guitar at home is a trans purple Music Man. So I love the look of trans purple. I didn't use the same tin. I used a different tin.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I wanted to make guitars that I think that I would want. And I think people would dig, you know, some of the things I might want.
Cool. So a couple more things in the chat. Ben Coombs says, I've been wanting to get my hands on an FU Tone guitar since playing one 2 years ago. They're amazing.
Thanks, Ben.
Coming from Ben, that's all you need to hear.
Ben is a guitar snob.
Kurt5150 says, Dave, great guest, man.
Thank you.
Phil Sandoval says, Adam,
Phil.
he says you're the best. Much love to FU Tone from Armored Saint.
That's
Oh my
from Armored
God.
Saint.
Hey, Phil.
Phil
Very
and I'll tell you about Phil and Jeff Duncan from Armored Saint are both spectacular guys, good friends, and just it's funny because just like I was talking about working with new artists, they were out on the road with Queensryche, and I've been, you know, Wilton is an FU guy from day one, and I met them on that tour, and I started adding parts to their guitars on the road. And it just, you know, just another dressing room, another guitar pit, another guy like sniffing, skeptical, like, what is this? And then I hand them their guitar back and off they go. And footnote for Phil also, Phil builds guitars. He's been building a lot of cool guitars at home too. Great guy, great guitar player, great band.
Yeah, I've always loved Armored Saint. There, you know, I'm not a big metal guy, but their music is incredible and great musicianship. Jason Constantine says, any idea of time frame, because I need to butter up the wife again.
Yes. Yes. June. I'm thinking they'll be here in June as long as they move smoothly, but June is the projected time. If I tell guys all the time, everyone wants to pre-order, and I can't manage all that. Subscribe to the newsletter at the bottom of my homepage, and then I'll just send out a newsletter. Hey, the guitars are here, and off they'll go. And you know, I'll have 100, so hopefully they'll last a little bit longer.
Yeah, that's great. Well, hopefully they don't last too long.
No, because I've got to order another 100 right behind
There you
these.
go. Let's see. So all right, so the body on the solid colors is also ash.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have ash, maple neck. What are the tuning pegs?
It's a Grover style. It's
Okay.
a good peg, decent.
One thing I will ask, when putting the locking nut on the guitar, other than just for quickness, is there another reason why you put the screws in through the top, other than going through the bottom like this guitar?
I got to tell you, and that's a good point. And I'm a huge proponent of rear mounting the nut. And I didn't do it on the production run because of the extra time. I mean, I did everything I could where I could to keep the cost where it should be.
Right.
So, and there's areas that I won't touch. I won't touch the bridge. So when you buy a bridge from my site, it's the same bridge that goes on the guitar. It's not an alternate bridge or I'll put some funky number on it that means it's a junky version of my bridge. It's the bridge. It's the pickup. It's the PMS. So I had to listen, if I could fish my wish on everything, the guitar would be $3,000.
Yeah.
So to bring the guitar and deliver it to the public at that price, I do everything I can. And it comes with a gig bag, a heavy
That's
bag
awesome.
as well.
So
the
Phil
weight?
Sandoval says Armored Saints' new record has FU tone all around it.
Those guys
is
are
very
great.
And Chris Taylor, the Beer and Gear podcast, says, "Hey guys, what are the characteristics of the pickups? Love the guitars."
Thank you. If you go watch the demo video on the site with Steve Brown, you'll hear the pickups. You'll hear them clean. You'll hear them dirty. You'll hear them single, split with the singles. You'll hear it in hum. But we go through every configuration of the pickups. So the pickup is a higher output pickup, but without being crispy or burny. The magnet I use with it and the output all working together. Everyone, sometimes guys will talk about pickups and they'll say, my pickup is, 15.5, my pickup is 16.18, whatever it is. And that's it. That's the end of the conversation. The truth is that really means nothing unless you know what kind of magnet it was, what kind of wire, what gauge wire. There's so many pieces of the pickup puzzle that give a pickup its defined sound. So you'll see I started selling a lot of different pickups on the site, just stuff that I think is cool, like Monty's from the UK, which is a boutique, hand wound pickup, which I just liked. I had a guitar in here for Andy Sneap from Judas Priest, and he sent me the pickups to put in the guitar, and I love the pickups. So I said, put me in touch with Monty's, and I brought it in, and I started selling Monty's. On the same note, and Monty's is like, I brought in a hot pickup, and I brought in a PAF style pickup, cover those bases. But I also do Mighty Mite. I carry Mighty Mite necks and parts and pickups. Mighty Mite makes a 20K output pickup called a Motherbucker. And I'm like, there's a demo video on the site. I went through all 4 of the pickups and I put them all in the guitar. And when I put that 20K pickup in the guitar as I'm about to demo it, I go, oh, there's no way this thing's going to sound good. Because in my head, I'm going 20K. But when you listen to that pickup, and even clean, I play the guitar clean straight into a 5153, it's warm, it's rich, it's nice, because of the wire and magnet they use with that pickup. So it's not just all about output on a pickup. There's a lot of other factors that go into it.
Agreed.
So, to my ears, from Steve's demo of your guitar, and I mean, it could sound different from anyone. It depends on whose fingers are on it. But to my ears, they're bright, with definition, not brittle, does not hurt your ears. They cut through really well. a lot of people think, well, I need warm sounding pickups, warm, warm, warm. You know what? Warm doesn't always cut through in a mix. You have to have some sort of brightness because guitars live in the mid-range. And the brighter part of the mid-range is where guitars cut. And what may not sound the best to your ears alone, if you play in a band situation or a recording situation, those pickups are usually the best ones and the ones you put on records. Because they cut and within a mix, they sound amazing.
I agree with that. I think this pickup has a lot of tonal options to it. So where you roll the volume off to, whether you split it or not, how you combine them with different splits or not. It'll give you a lot of different tonal options in there. And when you hear Steve, who did a beautiful demo for me because of the way he plays, you'll hear, hey, Carucci, my daughter just texted me the Flyers tied at 3-3.
Just tied?
Yeah, well, they were down like 3-1 3 minutes into the game.
All right.
So the options that you can get out of different pickups and the way you use the selector switch, the taps, the volume knob, you can really go from thick, heavy beef to glassy, clean, Strat-like tones, just by dialing it in. When Steve played the guitar clean on the single coil settings, to me, I was blown away by that, actually.
It's like a real good sounding Stratocaster. It's really good. Yeah, I the minute I saw that video, I was like, man, I'm in. That guitar is just great. It's, if you had to take one guitar to a gig, that's the one to take.
Yep.
It's a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, very cool. So it comes with a gig bag. It's $11.99. You get the second. You're going to get the second. Oh, yeah. All right. $1,100. $10.99.
Yes.
Just put the Dave tax on it.
Sorry. Yeah, that's
for you. It's $11.99.
No problem. I'll still buy two of them.
What's the weight on it, Adam?
That's a great question, and I'll tell you, it's a heavy guitar.
Okay.
It's heavy, so weight-wise, it's more like a 70s Les Paul. It's a heavy guitar because of all the hardware in the back here.
Right.
I mean, you got some beef in there.
Yeah.
And the PMS bars under the pickups, two brass bars there. This is a heavy guitar. They'll land between 8 and 10 pounds.
Good.
So
It's still not that bad.
no,
For
it's
a
not-
heavy guitar, I mean, good Les Pauls, good ones, are between 9 and 10 pounds. You get the occasional 8.5 pound guitar, which is it's like heaven, but a good Les Paul is in the range of 9 to 10 pounds.
This has weight to it. This is a substantial guitar.
Right.
And that weight translates into the tone of this guitar. Oh, also footnote, it comes with strap locks.
Cool.
And the strap locks for your strap.
Awesome.
Great.
Awesome.
Sustain for days.
Go out and have a bite to eat. You'll still be hearing that one.
That's right. Any case candy? Anything like the tremolo arm? Does it have the
No.
Allen wrench? No. Okay.
No. Again, so to keep the guitar at a solid price point where I feel I could get these to the masses, I had to make tough decisions on different options. And the most important options to the guitar, to me, the guts in here, that's where I put the money and made it go. However, I do customize them. Like guys will, order the yellow guitar and order all the purple hardware and say, can you put it on? And of course, yeah. I had a guy order black and put blue titanium all over it.
Wow.
Well, it's cool that you're still able to upgrade parts on your guitar and customize it. Exactly. It's perfect.
Yeah, mostly color options, changing it up for different guys. That's been the request of the guys that wanted to add to the guitar.
Now, you make colored tremolos. Where'd that idea come from, number one? And does that stuff chip off? Does it stay on for the life of the guitar? for the tremolo. Does and the other question is, will you come out with, like, say, colored tuning pegs at some point? Will you come out with other parts that are colored like that, other than the upgrades for the tremolo?
So to answer your question about the colors, and I have a new color process that we're testing right now that's a little more durable and has some cooler options color wise. It's kind of the way they'll color code guns. You ever see, like, a
Sure.
fake Glock?
Yeah.
So I'm working with someone that's going to try that. The colored ones I do now are powder coated. So you can chip it off if you're not careful with it. You don't have to baby it, but it's regular powder coat. If you take care of it, you're in pretty good shape. Now, the colored titanium parts, string lock screws, saddle mount screws, saddle inserts, that's not chipping off. That's a different coloring process for the hardware.
The detuner also, is that the same color process?
No, and I have sitting behind me, I have a bunch of prototype detuner colors that I can't show you yet, but the more colors are coming. So we just released blue.
Yes. Can you show us a blue one? Do you have one to show us? I was going to mention the blue. What about the blue?
So I don't know if you can see.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
see that. Yes, you
It
can.
almost matches your mic.
Yes. So the blue is out. We put red out last year. So yeah, we have chrome, black, gold, red, and blue.
Wow.
And more colors coming right behind these. I have 4 or 5 colors in the pipe that look really cool and are different and neat. And we're going to keep expanding the line.
That's awesome. That's really great.
Nice.
It's exciting to talk about this stuff because I'm a gear guy. Yeah, I have a lot of guitars, but I'm a gadget and gear guy. I love gadgets. I love upgrading stuff. I love to, like, I'm the guy that if I go to a music store and I buy a guitar, I want the guy to upsell me on everything. Get me all the things that I need, everything. I don't want to skimp on anything. And like your business is exactly that. And that's what's so cool.
When we were kids, again, going back to being in the 80s and going into a guitar store or a record store, the guitar store was limited to a degree, but it was the perfect time. And anyone who's heard me talk to anyone about this before, I'll sound like a broken record. But so in the early the 60s and 70s, your choices were Strat, Les Paul, and then all like the C-level brands for the most part. I think the real revolution came in the 80s with guys like Grover Jackson and Wayne Charvel and super Strats and hot rodding guitars. And now all of a sudden, instead of 1 or 2 companies that made pickups, you had a bunch. You had guys making guitars in garages, and that led to things like ESP, that led to Hamer, and all these companies that became those 80s guitars. And of course, Charvel Jackson, BC Rich, which was a good 70s company, but became like an 80s shredder type of company, pointy guitar thing in the day. Colors, options, pickups, tremolos, cool stuff. It was different. And if you rolled the clock back 10 years, you didn't see anything like that. And me and my friend in the suburbs of Philly, Mr. Longhair Nod, we would find our way up to New York to 48th Street. Mm-hmm. And there was no internet. There was no directions. There was no nothing. All we knew is we would read in a guitar magazine, like so-and-so was on tour, and before playing at the Garden, they went to Music Row, 48th Street in Manhattan. And you would read about this stuff, and we would be like, we got to find this 48th Street. And we did. And you would walk up and down 48th Street back in the day, and it would be, Sam Ash and Manny's and We Buy Guitars and Stuyvesant, 48th Street Custom Guitar, which was ESP, and just up and down the street. And I have pictures in an album somewhere in the stores, and it'll be rows of Kramer guitars and Charvel guitars and Jacksons. And it was from another time. It was from another planet. I wish I prepared for this where I could like show some of the stuff. I'll find all this and put it on my website because it was an amazing time in this industry. But what I called that was the revolution. That was the revolution where these guys building guitars in garages in California and here and there, took on, these major companies. And the major companies scoffed at these little shit companies like, ha, until you start seeing guys like Warren DeMartini playing that guitar or this guy or that guy or Ed Van Halen. They weren't playing Strats and Les Pauls.
No.
They were gunslinging and they were all looking for the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that set the bar for that time. It was great. It was a great time for guitars. And I think that revolution is about to happen again. Maybe not just with guitars, it became everything. So there was one or two pickup guys. Now, how many guys do you know and that you see online that are pickup guys, just pickups?
There's a ton of them.
A million, and most of them are really good.
Mm-hmm.
Amplificado.
And inexpensive. Not terribly expensive either.
Some yes, some no. And, that's okay. But what are they doing? The same thing that the 80s guys were doing. They're trying to build a better mousetrap. They're trying to make better parts. And if you're looking for the cheapest pickup out there, that's not for you. If you're looking for the cheapest tremolo part, I'm not for you. Best of luck. And that's not what I do. But these guys want to make the best product possible and get it out to the people. And real guitar players that chase this stuff like you guys, like me, it never ends. I got guys that'll send me parts all the time. Try this, try that. Here's a new tuning peg. Here's a new pickup. Here's a new this. Here's a new that. And I'll try. I still get just as excited. I get excited to try anything.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. It's like kid in a candy store.
Yeah.
So we have a bunch of questions in the chat. Ben Coombs says, matching headstock?
Not yet. Again, cost thing. And I hope Pete's still here. Flyers are now up 4-3.
Ooh. Jay Hannon 7/8. Hot pink?
Not in this run. Neon green. I was on the fence between hot pink and neon green.
He's a hot pink guy.
So hot pink, I would say run 3, but I'll tip you off also. Neon green has reverse headstock.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Daniel Vanderlinden asks, when are the new colors released? We went through that already. It's going to be June. Let's see. Jeff K. Adam Reiver, any chance of a relict or road worn finish in the available in the future?
Not as a production guitar. I would do one if someone wanted it, as like an extra type of thing. I got pretty good at doing relics over the years. Not my specialty, but I could do a good relic that doesn't look like it was relic. I hate when you see relics that, I call them the belt sander relics. Just it like, all right, it's perfect. Here you go, road worn.
Yeah.
That was, everyone does a different version of it.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen Eddie Ojada's Pink and Black Bullseye, all beat up.
Wait, the Kramer one or the Charvel original one?
The newer one. The original is gone, but the newer one, like that was on the cover of Vintage Guitar with the Kramer headstock.
Yeah.
I did that one.
Oh, no kidding.
And everyone would see it, and they would think it was the original.
Wow.
So.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Yeah, my kids helped me kick that down the street.
Now, I don't necessarily understand this question, but Citizen Kane says, does FU Tone sell humbucker pickup upgrade kits? Now, I don't understand really what an upgrade kit would be.
The only upgrade I do for pickups is the PMS, which is a brass bar that sits in the bottom of the pickup cavity, and you direct mount your pickup to it.
Mm-hmm. He also says, with pick guard, Do you do a pick guard?
I don't do it with a pick guard yet. I wouldn't rule it out, but anything's possible.
Okay, very good. Ben Coombs says, Adam is taking all my money. Oh, my God. All right, so let's see. Scott, yeah, any questions for Adam?
I was gonna say, I mean, this is really a question, but like on behalf of all guitar geeks, thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
For pushing the envelope. Very innovative and just fantastic stuff.
Thank you. And it's cool. Like the guys that think like we do, and even the pro guys, and I mean like pinnacle, top of the mountain guitar god guys, are no different. Like we're all that same nerd.
We're still in high school.
Yeah, and like they'll have some. I'll show up on a gig, and they'll be like, "Dude, come here! I got to show you this. Look at this! Look at it!" Just like high school, like going to your buddy's house.
Yeah.
And then I'm still pinching myself, going, I slept in a parking lot to buy tickets to see this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Amanda Coombs is here tonight.
Hey, Amanda.
How you doing, Amanda? Everyone in the chat, if you like this show, if you are enjoying what you're seeing, please give us a thumbs up. It'll let us know that you really enjoy what you're watching, and we'll keep doing this, and we'll keep getting great guests on. Adam, I've been wanting you on this show for a long time, and I really appreciate you coming on here and enlightening us on FU-Tone. It's just it's amazing. It's really good stuff. Is there anything that you'd like to tell us or tell the people that about like what do you have to say to people about doing anything to their guitars or just what words do you have for the people?
Don't be afraid. Just I get it. Like some guys don't want to like put a scratch in their guitar, this and that, and I respect that. And I have guitars like that. I have guitars that I'll baby. Very few, because I'll beat it. But like the rubber bracelets, the WWJD, what would Jesus do?
Yeah.
The saying here is WWEVHD, what would Eddie Van Halen do? He would be like, fuck it, man, just cut that and hammer this, and who cares? And that is the mindset here. You don't have to ruin your guitar to do stuff to it, but get in there, play with it, understand it. It's not hard. I get more calls and compliments and emails and messages thanking me for like doing the instructional videos to say, here's how to do this, here's how to do that. Because remember when we were talking about when I was a kid, the companies didn't tell you. There was no internet. You had to figure this out for yourself.
Right.
I like to share the information. And I don't care if you're not even using my stuff. I like to share the information because I was that kid that didn't know and nobody would tell me. And I like to help it. Here's something simple. Here's how to change a string. Here's how to float your bridge. And just get the information out there. Now, with a grain of salt, there's a lot of bad information out there.
That's right.
Like I'll take a lot of D-Tune Tech questions. Every D-Tune Tech question comes directly to me. I'll get on the phone with a guy. I'll get on video and show them this, that. But a lot of guys open with, well, I watched some guy on the internet and he said, I'm like, stop right there. Just stop. I literally stop right there. Mm-hmm. Whatever's going to come out of your mouth next is wrong. Let me help you. Let me hold your hand and I will take you there.
And you know what? Thank you for that, because that is a huge help.
I love doing that because once someone gets a little bit of success under their belt, it encourages them to go a little bit further. Guys will be afraid to change the block on their guitar, and I'll say, do you have the ability to change a string? And when they say yes, I go, put on this video, follow along with me, and just keep pausing it. And if you run into trouble, call me. And as soon as a guy gets done, I've gotten this call 1,000 times. I'm never paying anyone to set up my guitar again. It was my first time, and it came out better than the guy I pay $100 to and wait 3 weeks for my guitar for.
Right.
Yeah. I hate that myself. Can't stand it.
It's not that difficult for the most part, and most things aren't that difficult.
Yeah.
Basic maintenance, basic upgrading, things like that.
So here's a great question, and it comes from Bozique. He says, would you ever consider doing a non-locking tremolo guitar, like a Fender-style tremolo?
Yes, I do actually do a Fender-style tremolo. It's already on the site. It's just an upgraded version of a regular Strat tremolo. And speaking of Strat tremolos, I also resell the Vega Trem. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Vega Trem.
I don't know that one.
Vega Trem, if I can reach this. Hey, is that train here for me?
Oh, God. You can take the train right to my house. It drops you off right outside.
So this is the Vega Trem.
Hang on, let me get you close up here. Oh, look at that.
So
Nice.
what's cool about the Vega Trem, and it's not my tremolo, I'm just the reseller in the States for them. I met these guys at NAMM a few years ago, and I looked at it, and it looked really cool. But I was worried about a couple of aspects of it, like the block size, and I was skeptical. So I brought one back from them, and I put it on this guitar, my Strat, and I fell in love with this trem. This trem has such a wide swing range. It rests on a blade here, so it has a little groove in it. So it's very smooth, and you can pull it up, dive it up. I mean, it's a...
Uh-oh. He'll come back, I promise.
He will.
The Flyers must be losing again.
Oh, no, I don't know. I don't know where you lost me. It almost feels like a Kaler, but because it's very smooth. It's like you could get that real smooth, and that wiggly.
Right.
It's the neatest Strat trem. It's not like a locking trem. It's not a heavy metal trem, although you could do that. I find this to be a subtle but very accurate and articulate trem. And it's a direct drop-in for either a 6-screw Strat or a 2-post Strat. Cool. And you could drop it right in, no modification. Mm-hmm. Demo video on the site. And I really dig the Vega trem.
Very cool. Very cool. So that trem, there's a blade that screws into the wood, which has already got your 6 screw holes, and then that attaches to the blade.
Right. So if I took the strings off, this just pulls back from the blade.
Yeah.
And that blade, it drops right into the existing holes.
That's a great idea. And this way, it won't create any cracks because that part of the tremolo is not moving.
No, you could convert it back if you wanted to, but my biggest concern with this tremolo before I played it was it can't sound good. It's not going to sound good. The entire thing is stainless steel. The plate, the saddles, the block, the whole thing is high grade stainless, and it sounds amazing. So if you find the Vega trem on the site, I do a demo video. I show you how to put it in. I play it. Really, really interesting tremolo. They're from Spain, and they just added colors. So I do chrome, black, gold, and satin.
Okay.
Very cool. Phil Sandoval says he loves that guitar, the black with 3 single coils. Loves it.
Very, very Gilmore-ish.
Yeah, it looks like Gilmore's guitar.
Well, same way I have an Eddie guitar somewhere back there.
Yeah.
Can you see that?
Yeah, it's right there.
DeMartini.
Oh yeah.
Just like you guys.
All the best guitar players.
The guys you love, you get the guitar. I have a PC1 because I love Phil Collins.
Oh yeah.
Jason Constantine says, Adam, is it possible to order just the brass trem plate and saddles? I already have the brass block.
Do you mean just the bridge plate?
I don't know.
Tell them to just email me. And the answer to your question is yes, just email me.
Okay, well, there you go. Just email them. All right. So, what else didn't we talk about that you sell? What else is there? I think I'm forgetting some stuff.
I do acoustic.
Let's talk about Mighty Might, and let's talk about Boogie Bodies.
Okay.
Now, Boogie Bodies, is this the same? Is it the did you?
I took it. It's not just the
not,
name. The name came to me, and we just continued in that vein of style of making necks and bodies.
Okay.
Mighty Might, I'm partnering with right now and working with them. They're a great company. I love those people.
So, what bodies and necks does Boogie Bodies make?
Strat, Telly, Sandemus style, star bodies. Just
Now, are you just doing the 1 3/4 inch Strat bodies? Or are you doing the 2-inch bodies like Eddie used to have as well?
Not yet. Not a 2-inch mahogany body. You will see.
I would love to see that. Yeah.
I wish I had the time and resources and 6 more versions of me to just do everything I want to do all at once. My to-do list of products coming out is 100 products long right now.
Wow. Well, that's great. And Mighty Might, now, what are the difference between the Mighty Might necks and the Boogie Body necks?
Mighty Might neck, the Mighty Might neck I resell for them is an import neck. And I got to tell you, for an import neck, it is an awesome, awesome neck at a great price. So like a Strat head, locking nut cut, maple, what you would want on, a striped guitar like that. $139 for a really great feeling neck.
Fretwork is all right?
It's amazing. I wouldn't sell it if it wasn't. I won't sell anything I wouldn't play because I don't need to. I don't care.
It's a good endorsement right there.
I only bring in the stuff that I like. And I do sell other companies' products like Vegatrem, like Mighty Might. I brought on Music Nomad because I think they make great tech stuff and polishes and cleaners. I have Lizard Spit, which again, I think is a really great company. And I want what I think is good is what I'm going to sell. Because if I like it, I think my people will like it. Like those Monty's pickups. So FU Tone and the stuff I design and the stuff I manufacture and the stuff that I do is my core business. And that is what I do. But what I call commodity items that other people sell, that I resell, that you could get from almost anywhere else, I only bring in the really cool stuff that I think is high quality, the better mousetrap stuff.
Yeah. So Ben Coombs typed in your website again. It's www.futone.com.
Wrong. fu-tone.com.
fu-tone. I'm sorry. Yes. Check it out. I mean, he's got some stuff. He's got a lot of stuff that we didn't mention tonight, and there's something for everyone on there. I don't care what guitar you own. There is something for everybody on there. And if it's not a guitar thing, it's something to fix guitars with, or cables, or just all kinds of stuff. He's got stuff that, I'm also a guitar repair guy. So is Scott. Scott's a luthier. This guy has got stuff that we buy to fix guitars with. He just everything he's got on his site. There is something for everybody. So check it out.
Well, thank you, and thank you for inviting me, and thank you. The truth is, this is a conversation you and I have in private anyway.
Yeah,
it's the same conversation.
It's exactly, and that's what I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be just like me and you talking, or when you visited me at the rehab center when I was there, not for drugs, but it was just a cool hang, and we just got to talk about everything and nothing, and it was just 2 buds hanging. And tonight was 3 buds hanging, which is a very cool thing. And Adam, thank you so much for being on here, and I really appreciate it. I can't wait to get at least one of your guitars. if not 2. And that's no bullshit. I'm really can't wait to get at least 1. So thank you so much. Thanks for everything that you do. It's just awesome.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate the time, and I could just sit and chat gear with anyone, anytime. It's what we do, you know.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Scott, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Scott.
Ty couldn't be with us. In case you weren't here at the top of the show, Ty is rehearsing tonight with a band that he's actually gigging with this weekend. So good for him to make some money and play in front of people.
That's
so we will see you next week. And Adam and Scott, stick around after the show. We'll say goodbye after the show. Everyone, have a good night. We'll see you next Thursday. And we'll leave you at this.